How you doing?
How are you?
Good.
First derby at Old Trafford, regardless of the result, how did it feel?
I can't, regardless of the result, unfortunately. Yeah, look, it's unbelievable that the amount of fans, like, it just shows the kind of interest in Manchester United. Our fan base is magnificent. I'm sorry we couldn't give them a result tonight, but it feels wonderful to play here. And from the fan base, it just shows the interest. And so, to all the fans, thank you very much for everyone that turned out tonight. It makes it a special moment. Thank you.
Mark,
Hello, mate.
congratulations on the result. Hope you feel better later on today. Did it feel a bit like an opportunity wasted in a way in the title race? Because obviously, there was 4 teams kind of right up there. It feels like there's a bit of a gap now between yourselves and Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, look, there is a clear gap. So, we've got to deal with that fact. And I think when you deal with facts, then you got a choice about how you can next attack the gap. I just wasn't happy with us as a collective tonight from a performance standpoint. I don't think we were our usual self, and I'll be very clear on this. We set ridiculously high standards for ourselves here, ridiculously high, and we fell short of those tonight. And we allowed Manchester City's press and pressure to get on top of us when usually on other games we wouldn't have done that. So, and then the goals we conceded are not like us, and they're not good enough from our standpoint. But yeah, I just think that when we look at the gap, you know what you got to do at least, Emma, right? We know exactly what we got to do, and we got to play Chelsea twice. So you put pressure on those moments, but as I say, we put pressure on ourselves every day.
Yeah, and Tom actually asked Gareth Taylor earlier in the week if he felt they needed to go and beat for the rest of the season now in order to win the title. He said yes. Given the result today, do you think you have to go and beat?
I would suggest, yeah, and again, that's part and parcel of being Manchester United manager and a team that wants to aspire to win. We know historically that you drop too many points and you don't win the league. I do think it'll be a different league this year. I do feel that it'll be different. I might be proven wrong at the end of the season, but what we do have this early in the season, we have a chance to rectify that. And in defeat comes an opportunity. And tonight our opportunity is to go, right, what didn't we do well against Manchester City tonight that we need to fix and be better at? And how can we put it right quickly going into the games coming up? And especially the head-to-heads become even more important, and you got to deal with them, but don't lose sight of the other games too. We have to be better than we were tonight, and we will be.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay.
Mark, can I just get your thoughts on the Jay-Z goal that wasn't good?
I honestly didn't see if it's gone out or not, but regardless if it goes out, surely it's a corner. These are factors where I'm like, well, Nikita hasn't kicked it wide, has she? So I don't know, Tom, in all honesty, and without the VAR aspects, we're just probably not going to know. So I don't know, and I haven't. What I don't want to make excuses, and I don't want to make reasons, because maybe we can pass that a little bit earlier, and it's a goal. So these are all little decisions that we'll make better as we go out throughout the season. But yeah, I don't want to make excuses. And I don't think tonight we were, as a collective, staff, everyone included, I don't think we were at our usual best, and that's what we need to be every game.
Could you just talk us through the decision to start with Leah Golden at left back? And sort of
Yeah. So Jade took a knock in training 2 days ago. So yeah, it was more out of necessity than choice. But Leah's magnificent. Like, Leah's a wonderful left back as well. Doesn't particularly want to play there, but is a wonderful player in there. So it was a trust, absolutely trusted to be in there. But yeah, Jade, we thought Jade might have been more serious, but actually then she came through yesterday after a scan and it was okay. So she was okay for 45.
You hadn't lost at home in the league for over a year. Will that help you in the next week, if not?
All these factors, as with negative what am I trying to say? With these negative markers are also positive markers. We haven't lost in a year, but that's going to come to an end at some point, right? But now we have to make sure we do that again and don't lose in the next run of games. But the reality, more importantly, you can probably say I'm disappointed in our performance. It's something we have to measure ourselves on. I think the stats will probably skew a little bit later on because they went down to 10 players, and that's when we became probably more aggressive. And it took us too long to do that. It took us them to go down to one player for us to be aggressive at home. and that's just not us. And so we have to assess what that is. I'll look at that tonight, and when I assess the game, I'll know exactly why. And it's something I know this team, they're so honest, and they'll make sure that they fix that going forward. Okay.
Please.
Yes, Mal.
It looks by some of the City celebrations, the players were really up for this.
Yeah.
Maybe even the United support made them even better. They wanted to prove the boo's wrong, whatever. Do you think that had any impact on the game? Maybe how your players approached it. It was a big occasion, first derby here. I know you said you didn't want to make excuses, but did that play a part in it?
I think, look, it can do. It can make a part of it, but if you want to win things, you have to be better than that. And so, again, coming back to controllables, we have a choice around that, and our choice should be to, if Manchester City pressure like this, then we have to play like this. And I think that I don't think we as players or staff we look for excuses. So I don't want to give that. I thought when we played Manchester City at the Etihad last year, I felt they had a little bit maybe of that as well, where I think we outplayed them at times. And it's always probably easier when everything's against you to go into that game. But it's just probably the nature of the goals we've conceded tonight. It's just, we'll be so disappointed with those goals. And things easily controllable, but those little psychological things where you feel pressure that's maybe not there, and that results in goals. And again, I'll credit Manchester City for that. Like they were fighting, they were up for it, and I think we were, but we just needed to raise our level a lot quicker than we did. Okay, mate.
You're back.
How are you?
2 or 3 times where United perhaps weren't what their usual levels when trying to play out from the back.
Yeah.
How do you address that going forward?
Yeah, look, I don't think, honestly, it'll be a momentary thing. We're very good at it, and what we just need to do is, if teams press us high, we just find the outball quicker. I'll be very clear. We don't build from the back for an egotistical thing. It's because if the opponents press you high, the space is higher up. So we need to make sure that we maximise that. So it's just about what spaces the opponent give us. What we didn't do tonight was, they were still there, those spaces, but we played into traps, and rather than just play and move around that pressure, we allowed the pressure to absorb us. And I don't mean the pressure of the occasion, I mean the pressure of the player against us. And that's what we need to be better at, and that's something that we've been excellent at for a long time since I've been here. So it's tonight we've not done it well enough. Dip the standard a little bit below, and you lose the game. And no, we can't do that. We'll be better, and we have to face it. When you lose, you have to face it, and we can't hide from it. So we'll be better at fixing those problems going forwards.
Commiserations, Mark. Sometimes when we've had games like this in the past with the sellout crowd and the kind of main stadium, it's felt a bit like among the crowd to be a bit of a day out, or sort of you get buses of school kids not necessarily watching the games, etc. Have you noticed this time, like Tom was saying, Chloe Kelly kissing the badge and a real loud crowd? Did it feel more like a derby this time compared to how it would have maybe 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, I think it's a growth. I think we spoke about that maybe in the week or so, and the growth of the game is huge, and now it's becoming proper rivalry, rather than, oh, it's a great day to be out. And that's credit to the fans, that the fans want to see what the performance is. And again, the players have to feed into that. And, if Chloe's done that, then that's part and parcel of a derby, right? If we're on the other end of that, then, we do what we've got to do. But I like the rivalry. We were on the losing end of it tonight, so it hurts. But we have to be galvanised by the fact that we've got to be on the other side of it in the next game. And that's the beauty of it. There's always a next game. And so we have to be better in that. And we will be, because I know this team and I know what they're like. They'll look at tonight, they'll own what we haven't done well, and I'll fix it. Jay?
We've got games in a couple of different competitions coming up now. So what was your message to the players in the huddle on the pitch afterwards?
Honestly, Jay, I don't think I had to tell them too much. Like, we all look for these mesmeric speeches, and actually sometimes it's girls, we weren't good enough, and they understand that. And let me be honest, when we're good enough, it's a collective. When we're not good enough, it's a collective. So that's not me blaming the players at all. As a collective, we can be better at the planning phases. If we're going to get this pressure, now I can learn even more about my team tonight. That if we're not in good phases of the game, actually, how do we get ourselves back into that? So I just think that they'll be ready. Like, they'll pick up themselves up, and sometimes you need a punch in the mouth to know where you're at. And so we'll be better than we are, and we'll go again.
And as a takeaway from today, on the front of the stadium, there's a picture of all the players, but there's the next 4 matches out there. Is that an important takeaway from today? It's not just about today. It's about come to League next week.
It always feels like it's about today, right? Because the result is now. But it's also about the growth of the women's game on a wider spectrum. It's also about putting where 45,000 fans can come into the stadium and face a big rivalry. How many fans will watch on TV from around the world? I just think it's huge. But yeah, it has to continue. Like, to be fair, you know our fans, they turn up at Lee as well. And so I think it's that continued growth that I'm enjoying seeing. And look, we're going to keep putting on performances that will keep our fans coming. Tonight we fell short of that. But we'll be honest, we'll work on it, and we'll be better and make sure we put performances in again. Okay.
Back.
Mark,
Hi.
to cope with the occasion and the nerves today, what did you tell the players just before you went onto the pitch?
Yeah, I think it was a bit, because we've done it before, I think it was a little bit more of the experience from last time. So I think you're always drawing your experiences that you've had prior. But also, it's not bad to feel a little bit of those nerves. It kind of, if you use it the right way, it can fuel you. But more importantly, we've recruited more experienced players in the bigger stages, Champions League winners, World Cup players. And so I think it's becoming more of a norm. It's not quite there yet because we don't do it every week, and there's always going to be a difference. But I think the girls are preparing well for the leap into the bigger stadiums. And look, tonight is probably one of the only performances where we haven't done that. In all the other big stadiums, I felt that we've performed. So it's another learning experience for us tonight to be, why weren't we and how can we be better?
Did you address the nerves at halftime?
I don't think, honestly, we did. Yes, we did. Because we're honest with each other. And I addressed the maturity of our play. And at times we felt a little bit like we were rushing to the end outcome. So we were breaking through their lines, we were counter-attacking effectively, and then when they narrowed up, we tried to slot passes that weren't there anymore. And so it's more about then we build and keep Manchester City from then transition on us. Because Manchester City are good with the ball. So, yeah, I felt that we addressed that. And look, second half we're better, but I think the 10 players really got us into a click, but it was too late then. It's too late. And we'll assess that, and we'll be better, I promise you that. Okay.
Anyone else?
Just could you elaborate further on more experienced players, Jason, Mallard? They seem to be building quite a good partnership.
Yeah, they do. There's still barriers, and that's what you'll see. I promise you, you're going to see even more closely as we go throughout knowing each other and how we play. And actually, it's just the little details of, like, for example, if we're going to play more direct, then we can play underneath. So it might be JC is the highest player, but then Malvine drops underneath. So if Man City get the first contact, we're in the second space. And then once we're in that second space, I don't think Manchester City would have lived with us, but we end up being in a flat line because they can't quite communicate quickly enough as the ball's travelling. So it's all those little details that they don't yet have the language skill to do, but they're working on it, 3 lessons a week, consistently, translators in. So as we step into the new realm of welcoming non-native English-speaking players into our league, it just takes a little bit more time. And it's the patience of us as players, staff, to understand once it clicks. I can promise you now, it's going to be so exciting for more consistent periods of the game. Tonight it was exciting, but it was too flashy. It was flashes. And then we will want more consistency, and we'll get more consistency from those wonderful players because, they're exciting, right? But we do need a consistent defending and attacking. And once you get that, we'll fly.
Okay, we'll hold it there. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all for your questions. Good to see you all. Okay, thanks a lot. See you later.
Thanks, everyone.